everyone, welcome back to another podcast episode. My name is Alicia Gogan, the host of the Globe Circus podcast, where I help you expand your mind and become more self-aware so that you can glow up into the best version of yourself. I just want to quickly note, something's going on with my microphone, so if at any point the sound kind of drops in quality, it's because I'd be going back to my camera sound. I'm trying not to call that into the universe, but I just wanted to mention that just because we don't know what's going on. I might have to just get a new mic because I kind of broke the USB a little bit on this mic, but we're good for now. I'm going to be looking over here if you see me on YouTube a lot as well. But anyways, how are we doing? I quickly just want to say thank you to everyone who wished me a happy birthday. I am 28 now. I'm feeling good and fun and fresh. I would highly suggest you go to my main channel and watch the video that I titled, "You Are Not Living Up to Your Full Potential and You Know It." I really think that video just encompasses the past few weeks that I've been going through so many deep realizations. And one of them, which is something that I said in last week's off-topic episode, I want to start committing more to the things that I say that I'm going to do or that I need to do on the days that I actually told myself to do them instead of like pushing things off. And I am recording on the Monday. I told myself I want to start recording my Thursday episodes on Mondays and my Monday episodes on Thursdays. So I'm feeling really on top of my game. I had a great workout this morning. I'm just feeling so good. I'm feeling 28. Anyways, that's what we're talking about today. We are essentially doing a part 2 to last Thursday's episode, where I essentially just gave you a pep talk on deciding that you are enough. Like, I just really want you guys to just be sick and tired of self-hating and looking in the mirror and just constantly picking at yourself and constantly saying that you're not enough. Like, we just don't have any more time in our lives to just waste looking in the mirror and just constantly telling ourselves that we are not good enough. So if you haven't watched that episode or listened to it on Spotify, Apple, wherever you're listening or watching, definitely go listen to that first. But in today's episode, I do want to talk about the pressure to be perfect and pretty, and also just how to start to feel more confident in your own skin and just rebuild your confidence. Now, I've talked about this many times on my channel. I think my channel is a big library of things that you can incorporate into your life to kind of build up your confidence more and to love yourself more. But I do think that I want to break down some of the main things that really, really helped me build my confidence in a world where everywhere you look and everywhere you go, especially when you're young, it seems like there's always just some standard you have to live up to, or you constantly feel like you are always influenced to change yourself. And I think a lot of the reasons why we have a lot of insecurities is obviously the rise of social media, getting socialized in school. There's so many people who have different preferences and different likes and dislikes. And unfortunately, it comes very, very loud, especially in women's ears sometimes, and men too. If you listen to this and you're a man, you can totally apply all of this. But I think that sometimes everything gets really, really loud, and it's kind of hard to navigate life. It's like for last week's episode, it's like, I know you guys resonate with that message of being like, yes, I'm sick and tired of hating myself. Like, I want to love myself. I want to look in the mirror and just be proud of myself. I want to unconditionally love myself, this, that, and the third. But then you go out into life and you either forget the message, or you need to work on that a little bit more, or you're simply just bombarded with living in a society right now where it makes it honestly very difficult for you to look at yourself as someone who is enough, who is beautiful enough, hot enough, successful enough. I am good. So I want to give you some of my best tips to help you navigate the pressures of being pretty. Now, one quick mention, I guess probably one of the biggest sparks that I had for this episode came from a girl on YouTube. I love her videos, and her YouTube name is called Queen Chama, Chioma. I will also have it linked in the description or wherever you're listening to this. And also like the episode in which she was talking about the pressures to be pretty in society. And in that video, she was really just breaking down, she breaks up down honestly a lot of like social media influencers and, baby mama and rap culture and, kind of like toxic type of relationships and dissecting them and pulling out the wisdom and things that we can learn from what we're seeing on social media. So I would honestly highly suggest you watch her YouTube channel. I just love that kind of content. I've always been really into it, honestly. But in this video specifically, she was bringing up the fact that I don't know who this girl was, some sort of either female rapper or some big influencer on social media. And she was complaining to the world about how I guess she had gotten lipo or something in her chin to get rid of her double chin. And then she went online saying, how many times is it going to take for me to actually get this away? Like, I just went in and got this procedure done and I'm still not satisfied with the results. Like, I'm still not able to get away this like double chin, this, that, and the third, whatever she was saying. And on top of that, she did have a lot of work done. And this is not the episode to bag on people who have whatever it is that they have done. I understand why people do what they do, honestly. But at the end of the day, like, it was very clear that she's done everything head to toe on herself, and she was continuously doing more, and she was constantly also complaining about the fact that it wasn't enough. And I even see and hear a lot of stories about girls who get veneers. They'll get veneers and then they post on social media, oh my god, like my teeth are hurting so bad and this, that. And this is not everyone's case. People get veneers and it looks amazing and great, but there's a lot of people who are really still struggling after they get veneers done, or after they get their boobs done, or after they get BBLs. I literally know so many people in the city who have gotten BBLs who either terrible results, they're not happy with their results, and also they didn't know that they kind of had to keep up their bodies in a way in order to kind of like have the BBL look pretty good still. And so they're pissed about that, and they feel like, well, then why did I even get this type thing? It seems in this world there's not a lot of satisfaction when it comes to certain procedures, and that's why I heavily moved away from even trying to convince myself that I needed these things. And I said this before, when I was younger, I considered actually thinking about getting a BBL, which is so far out of the realm in which I look at myself and life, and I would never get that anymore. Like, I wouldn't consider that at all. Mainly because honestly, you could go to the gym and really just grow your ass if you really committed to doing that, but whatever. And also, I definitely, even before the BBLs were a thing though, this is probably the first thing I thought about was getting my boobs done when I was younger too. And I would just like say this like off the whim. Like, I always just thought, yeah, one day I'm going to get my boobs done. But after hearing so many people talk about their dissatisfaction with some of the procedures that they were getting, or just personally my personal taste, I just don't really see the need, or I don't really love the way it looks sometimes. And this is not every time, girl. There are some girls who've gotten a BBL and it literally looks like they haven't gotten it. It's crazy. Or they get their boobs done and you just don't even know. Like, there's definitely times where things look good. I'm not saying that, but I steered far away from that. And actually, one girl that I will mention, especially I think for the very young girls who listen and watch my podcast or my YouTube, I think this would be really helpful, because I feel like a lot of us millennials, or like 25 and up, we kind of know the name of the game when it comes to social media. We know everything is fake. We know it's a highlight reel, this, that, and we can kind of maybe remind ourselves more. But I feel like the younger generation, they're just like growing up with the picture perfect version of everything. And it's almost, I'm not saying that younger women or even men are blind to the fact that things are fake, or they're dumb, or you guys aren't like on it just like we are. But I don't know. I just feel like sometimes when you're younger, it seems to be like everything is always bombarding you. So there's this girl, her name is Stephanie Lang, and she does a lot of dissecting celebrities who Photoshop their photos and who've gotten work done, but they said they haven't, like all of that kind of stuff, just as a way to really educate women and to make them feel better about themselves, but not in a way of she's trying to put these other women down for Photoshopping. She's very healthy. So I would just suggest you go and check out her YouTube if you haven't. So bringing it back to Chama Chat's video, what I came to realize out of that video, and many years of this realization, honestly, there will always be something that you can get. There will always be something that you can enhance. And at what point do I look in the mirror and I say, you know what, I'm good enough? Well, here's a few things that allowed me to solidify this energy of I am enough. And actually, before I say my tips, I want to make a few disclaimers here. I am not saying that we can't use makeup or fashion or get things done to ourselves to make ourselves feel good. That is not what I'm saying. And especially when you are on this journey of rebuilding your confidence, for me to sit here, somebody who is rebuild her confidence and feels really, really secure in her own skin, for me to sit here and tell you, oh, you shouldn't want to get your boobs done, or you shouldn't want to get filler to make your lips look fuller. You shouldn't want to dye your hair or get extensions or get a weave in or whatever, would be hypocritical of me, because I have gone through those phases of using some of those things to make me feel better. And this is also not to say that you're using these things because you're just this insecure girl and this, that, because there's obviously things, and we're going to talk about it, that I came to realize in my life right now that I still like doing. Like, I still like wearing some sort of makeup. I still like wearing my hairpiece sometimes. Like, there's obviously still things that I, essentially enhance, but I definitely fell back on the list of enhancements that I thought that I needed to have by going through some of these tips. So I just want to make that disclaimer. And I also think another thing is, like, the goal for us is not to strive for perfection. And what I mean is, you will, I personally think, always want some sort of external validation. You're gonna want to wake up beside your man and your man to tell you that you're pretty. Even if you have all this confidence in the world, it would be nice to hear your man say that you're beautiful, even if you know it. Or, if you post a photo on Instagram, like, yeah, wouldn't it be nice to have likes? Like, when you go out to a party, like, it'd be nice to get a compliment. Obviously, like, I feel like this is bringing it back to honestly human connection at the end of the day, right? It's like, what we're actually really striving for is that love and validation and acknowledgement from other people, and we don't get that in our lives, and that's what we're chasing, which again I'm going to talk about. But I just want to make this very clear. Y'all know my relationship with being a perfectionist, and I don't want us to get into that energy of like, okay, I'm gonna like rebuild my confidence and I'm gonna like never need external validation, because I really think it's just not needed. It's really not needed. You can still want and enjoy and embrace external validation without it either like feeding your ego too much, or for it to only sustain your happiness. Like, there's definitely can be a flow. So I first want to talk about having a mental diet. What you consume not only influences the way you view yourself, but it also influences your actions in your life. And when I started to realize I didn't have a lot of self-worth, and I was feeling like shit about myself every time I went on social media or I was around pretty people, and I wanted to change myself, and like I had this list of like things that I needed to do, and I just like could not accept myself at all, I started to be very honest and real with myself, and I realized that I needed to reevaluate my priorities. This I do not want to have be some sort of call out, so please, I love you so much and I've been here, but honestly, when I was younger, my priorities weren't the best, okay? My priorities were how hot was I gonna look in a bikini? Will this boy like me? How many likes will I get? I wanna look better than all these girls out here. And I started to also realize that I wasn't valuing things that were actually more important in life. And for me at the time, it was my finances, getting out of debt, saving money, working, finding out what career path I even wanted to go into, my education, making sure that I was moving my body and eating right and sleeping right for my health, so I had energy to get up and go and do things and live my life. I started to realize that I was valuing whether a guy was going to text me back versus making plans with my friends, because I was waiting to see if he was going to message me to see if I can go out with him instead of, putting off an amazing friendship. My priorities just were not very good. And once I got real with myself about that, and I started to have a focus on what really mattered in my life, I naturally started to gain more confidence, and I wasn't feeling so much like shit about myself because I wasn't putting my attention to vanity metrics. I wasn't really caring about who's going to wear what at this party or who's going to be the hottest girl, because in my life, I'm focusing on getting out of debt and working on my goals and having good friendships, like really healthy things in my life. And something I actually thought about a lot when I was trying to rebuild confidence within myself, especially in regards to men, like in relationships, because that was always my insecurity. I always thought that my body wasn't nice enough and I wasn't pretty enough and this, that, and comparing myself to every other girl. And oh my God, he's going to like those girls more. I would tell myself a lot, is my body and my beauty really going to sustain a long-term relationship? Like, let me think about that for a second. Like, those are the things that I'm telling myself are important when it comes to relationship. Like, that's actually pretty insane. And I think as you grow up and you start dating as well, you start to realize, first of all, the standards that guys have are usually kind of low, honestly. Like, and also they don't have like body dysmorphia sometimes the way that we do, and we nitpick on absolutely everything. And most men, like, obviously physical attraction needs to be a thing for a lot of them, for most of them, but like they don't even pick up on half the things that you are like hyper obsessing about. So those are just like some of the things I had to get real about with myself and my life. Like, okay, so why is it that I'm only caring so much about my beauty when realistically the beauty is a small piece of the puzzle when it comes to my relationships and in general, everything else, but I'm bringing it back to relationships as an example. What about my heart? What about my kindness? What about my personality? What about my uniqueness? What about the fact that I'm interesting? What about my interests? Like, what do I even have to say to this person beyond the fact that I'm pretty? Like, okay, so I just worked all summer to get super hot, and like now I'm going on this date and now I have nothing to talk about because I didn't have any of my priorities really in place, and my finances are a mess, and I don't really like myself, and I'm actually quite unhappy, and I don't have healthy habits, but oh, that's fine. At least I'm hot. Like, no. And also, real life experiences do not require you to be pretty. The lake or the ocean or wherever you live does not require you to look like a supermodel in order to get into the water and wear a bikini and to enjoy your life. The only person that is putting that standard on yourself is you. Okay? The ocean doesn't care about how freaking small your waist is. And this is what I'll say. If you are around people, places, things that require you to be pretty, hot, whatever, in order for you to be let into the door, baby, that is not your door. That is not your door. This is not to say there's not a time and a place to get yourself dolled up and get ready. Yes, am I going to say you're going to go walk downtown to Toronto and try and get into a nightclub wearing freaking Crocs and looking like Justin Bieber? Probably not. But that's okay, because at the end of the day, it's okay to have standards, right? It's okay to look your best, but it's your best, right? It's not like you have to look like Kim Kardashian in order to get into the door. If you have to look like Kim Kardashian to get into the door, baby, it's not your door, okay? So getting real with what you're putting your focus on and what you're prioritizing in your life will have a huge impact on how you view yourself. What are you prioritizing right now? Get real with yourself. Are there things that are outside of how your body's going to look or what your diet and your fitness is going to do for your body that you could be focusing on? Like, are you in debt? Do you have money saved? Do you know what you want to do with your future? Do you know what you want to do with your career? And this is important to think about, okay? Because at the end of the day, you being hot and pretty and like just this popular it girl, that's only going to get you so far. What's going to happen when you're like 30 years old and you need to buy a house, or 30 years old and you need to have an actual real relationship with people, but you don't know how to have one because you don't even know how to have a relationship with yourself? Like, these are things that we need to deep center in our lives, like looks, for just a little bit, especially as you're rebuilding your confidence, and put your focus on something else. It will help so much. Not only will it help you get to where you're actually probably really wanting to go in your life anyways, but it will really just help you heal. Like, stop putting so much focus sometimes on this external, like this physical, how you look. It's really, I promise you, being 28 now, it really is not that important. The next thing when it comes to your mental diet is having some sort of social detox or social media detox. I know we talk about this a lot, and I'm not even going to say get off of social media because it's obviously hard, right? Everyone and everything is on social media. But listen, do you really have to sit and scroll through hours of beautiful, sexy, pretty, amazing, beautiful TikTok girls dancing and showing their hips and showing how amazing they are? Listen, we're not here to not support people. We are not here to hate on other women. We're not doing that. But this is what I'm going to say. It does not help you when you do not have a lot of confidence within yourself. It just doesn't. And I say this a lot. Once you get through this period, you usually, if you do this, I don't want to say right, but if you do this in a like balanced way, you're going to be able to look at these women online, let's say, and have more confidence within yourself because you've done some of the things that we're going to continue to talk about. So like for me, when I see, let's say, TikTok girls who are like doing those like hip waist things, I don't know, like dancing, and they look amazing and hot and beautiful, I can look at them and I can be like, wow, she's amazing, and kind of keep scrolling and it not really affect my self-esteem. But what I will say is, if my TikTok feed was Only that. I don't care how much confidence I have. That shit would break it down. It would. I can't sit here and look at every single picture perfect person all the time. I cannot do it. And you shouldn't either. Again, bring it honestly back to priorities. Why do I need to consume so many women and so many pretty this, that, and the third, and that girl and clean girl, which by the way, I love a good clean girl aesthetic. I think I might actually make a video on that, make my version of clean girl aesthetic. But again, it's like in small doses. And honestly, when you're rebuilding your confidence, it should really just be out of sight, out of mind. So thinking about your TikTok feed, thinking about your Instagram, your Pinterest, what are you looking at right now? What are you consuming? This is not to say that you can never be inspired and you know, because I know I get the argument of, oh, but these girls are so motivating, inspiring, and I want to be like them. Okay, that's fine, but you don't need to watch and consume them every single day, all day, in order for you to get up and go to the gym. Okay? Like you don't really need that. And I know sometimes it feels like it's normal because especially the young ones who've just grown up on social media, but I promise you there is a life outside of social media. You go in the real world, you feel so much better about yourself. And this is not to look around and be like, oh, see, everyone's like not actually that pretty and this, that, but genuinely, you just don't get triggered because you see people and their flaws and their beautiful uniqueness. And this is something that you have to continue to remind yourself. And I have to remind myself of this as well. What you see on social media is only a highlight reel. It only is. Even my feed, it's only a highlight reel. I'm not going to show you what I look like when I wake up at 7 a.m. and my eyes are super, super tired and my hair is a mess. I do the best that I can, showing up on camera the most authentic that I can. But at the end of the day, it does not matter how real you want to, think someone is. I'm not saying that I'm lying or anything, but it's just like, you're just not going to get the full picture, right? Even let's say when you go out to a formal event, everyone is looking flawless. Do you really think every single person in that room is always looking like that? No, we put time and effort into ourselves to show up. But why is it that when you go home, you're still comparing yourself to the version of them, which is the highest version of them, which when they went home, they're actually still looking like you as well, right? But on social media, you're being taught to believe that that is literally how people show up all the time, and it just really isn't. And listen, if you know people in real life who really just look amazing and beautiful, let it be. That's fine. People can look amazing and beautiful. Another person's beauty has nothing to do with you. It should have nothing to do with you. So curate your social media the best that you can. Stop consuming and following and scrolling people who really at the end of the day just make you feel like now you need a BBL and now you need to get fake tits and now you need to buy everything from Zara and now you need the X, Y, and Z. Keep it a balance, okay? Keep it a balance. It doesn't have to be perfect. I like to really follow people who, at the end of the day, yes, their life is a highlight reel and I really love their aesthetics. I love a good aesthetic. You guys know me, I love a good aesthetic, but they're usually teaching me something. Like they're teaching me how to do their hairstyle, or they're teaching me how to have the fashion that they are, or they're teaching me how they got to where they are, or, the gym girlies, if I'm following them, which I really don't, but if I definitely used to actually, and I would get really obsessed with them. But then I started following the ones where they were kind of being a little bit more real with me, and they were teaching me how to even work out, and they were talking about self-confidence themselves. Those type of creators I just find are a little bit more helpful, because it's like, it's one thing to show how amazing you are, but it's another, and I think it's a nice thing to do as a creator, to share some of your secrets. This does not mean you have to share everything, right? You are not obligated as a creator to share all of your secrets, but literally the reason why I called this podcast The Glow Up Secrets is because I wanted to share the secrets in which helped me actually glow up into the best version of myself. And this is what I'm doing. And I actually think one of the things that actually sparked this idea of the Glow Up Secrets is I remember when I would go on social media and I would follow girls. This is like when the rise of Instagram girls would like really started to rise, I guess. And there was like fashion girlies who would always post their outfits and they would look really pretty. And this is when I started to realize like, damn, like my fashion don't be looking like that, or like my room doesn't look like that, or oh my God, everyone has picture perfect lives. But then you would go to the comments because you'd want to see like, where did they get that shirt, or where did they get this, that, and the third, or how did they do their hair? And they would never answer. They would never answer. And that I didn't like. Why are we gatekeeping? Listen, again, as a creator, I have to advocate for allowing myself and whoever else on the internet to be able to share whatever they want, whatever they're comfortable with. But there was this energy, and I think that there was like this culture. A lot of people were really picking up on this, that there was just girls who really only cared about, look at me, look at how amazing I look and how beautiful I look, but I'm not going to tell you and I'm not going to share, and you can just like me. And, it was very just egotistical. But I do think creators now, it's so much different. Like, there's so many people who are very, very helpful and they share things. And I really, really love that. But yeah, just make sure that you're kind of following people who seem to kind of have your best interests at heart in a way. But creators can't always. We just can't. We don't even know half the people sometimes that we're talking to. And at the end of the day, there's just going to be certain things that I like or dislike, or that creator likes or dislikes or whatever. And it just might not be your cup of tea. Now, we need to talk about something that is very important. You can have a social media detox and remove yourself from things that are triggering you more, like, focusing more on your goals and your aspirations and your hobbies and real relationships, and, just like moving away from vanity metrics. But at the end of the day, you are going to feel the most confident when you are putting work into yourself. This is not to mean that if you feel like crap about yourself, that I'm saying you got to go to the gym. You got to work on yourself, girl. You got to change yourself. You got to put some makeup on. Or you need to learn how to do your makeup or this, that. No, you're going to do whatever you want that's going to make you feel good. But at the end of the day, we cannot deny that there's certain things in our lives that will build confidence. Okay? I don't care how many times you want to not look at the pretty girls. At the end of the day, you're going to have to live in a world where you're going to see pretty girls. So how is it that you're going to feel good about yourself? Well, here's a few things. For one, you need to understand this concept deep into your soul. The only competition that you have is with yourself. It is not with the girl next door. It is not with the girl who sits beside you in class. It is not the girl from 10 years ago who you think about all the time and you're like, oh my God, she's so pretty and I just can never be like her. It's not the girl on your Pinterest board. It is you. The reason why I'm saying this is you will always find somebody in your mind. If you think about it like this, if you are in this rat race, you will find people who inevitably have better skin than you, better body, more money, more success, a hotter boyfriend, more friends, more followers, more likes, more everything. So why are we constantly competing and comparing? And I love to use other women as inspiration, and that is what we should do, but not to the point where I feel like I need to compete. And there's no need to compete. There is enough to go around. Now, I have an episode on how to stop judging and criticizing others and yourself and how to stop being jealous. So I'm going to put those videos in the description as well, because that will really, really help if you really struggle with that. I talk a lot about shadow work in those episodes, but realistically, when you are working on yourself, it really should be you versus you. When you're going to the gym and you feel really good about yourself, and then you go on Instagram and you look at someone else and you see that their body is like maybe your dream body or whatever, stop looking at yourself like you didn't do enough, like you're not there. That girl and her body and her aesthetic and her everything is irrelevant to where you're at right now. When you catch yourself comparing yourself, remind yourself, I'm comparing to out here, the external, and I need to bring the spotlight back to myself and look, the previous version of me, I need to compare myself to that girl. That is it. So when you're scrolling and when you're around people, your attention is usually on everyone else. When you notice your attention going to someone else, bring it back to yourself. What have I done today? What am I continuously doing for my self-growth journey? What is it that I've accomplished? You have to remind yourself of those things in the moment to help you move through this little trigger that you might be going through. Now, sometimes we struggle with bringing that attention back to ourselves and reminding ourselves of all the work that we have done. You know why? Because we haven't done any work. This is where we got to get real with ourselves for a moment. At the end of the day, if you have really been committing to yourself and taking those actions towards a version of you that you know that you can be, it would be quite easy for you in the moment that you're triggered to remind yourself of all the things that you've actually been doing. And if you can't do that, then you probably haven't been taking those actions, in which you have no business sitting here looking at someone else and dwelling and being sad and feeling like shit about yourself. You got to put your attention and your time into a routine that works for you, that is going to get you to where you want to be, which is feeling confident within yourself. This is the thing. There is no denying the way you feel after you've done a hard workout or after you've made a beautiful meal for yourself. No one can really shake you. Now, listen, you can go online after you've done your workout and maybe you see someone who's like more fit than you and you kind of are like, damn, like, whatever. But that's when you do that practice and you bring yourself back to yourself. Keep it going. We don't need to like go into that energy, but you're really just less susceptible to that type of trigger because you just went to the gym. Like you literally just did all the work you possibly could have done. So like, why is it that I would even get thrown off when I have done the work? And now this is something that I'm going to be showing you guys on the main channel as well. Some of the things that I'm going to be really committing to my own self and, pushing myself on. And that really is pouring into my own cup. And I think that that's what you need to do as well when you find that your attention is going to everyone else and you're feeling like shit about yourself. How can I pour into my own cup right now? Not how can I figure out how to be that version of her over there because I absolutely hate myself. How can I help myself right now? Because right now I'm struggling clearly. And now another thing that is really important is to ask yourself the question in some of these times when you're triggered is, how can I embrace more of my unique beauty, my uniqueness of myself? It doesn't even have to be beauty, right? And maybe this is my thought, and I think a lot of people think like this too now as we get older, but people really like people who are unique. People like different, and you might not think about the fact that you have something different or unique about yourself right now because you're in this phase of like rebuilding things, but there is something unique about yourself. I would highly suggest you take some time to really explore that and enhance that, embrace that, nurture that. And I'll give you an example. My hair, my natural hair. All of my life, I never liked my natural hair. I didn't like my natural hair because I went to school with a bunch of girls who had straight hair. Okay. And it was really hard for me to do my hair. And I didn't like that I would look different. I didn't like how my hair looked, obviously, because I didn't know how to do it properly, really. My mom did a really good job at doing like black girl hair and doing braids when I wanted to and stuff. Like she did such a good job. And again, she just wanted to give me what I wanted as a child, and I wanted straight hair. So at some point I asked her to get my hair straightened and she would let me, like things like that. Like, love her. She just tried to do the best to make me feel the best, but I didn't know how to do my natural hair. So of course it's like, if I don't know how to do my natural hair, then I'm not going to like it, right? Because anytime that I have it out, it doesn't look done up. It doesn't look nice. It looks freaking matted if I don't know how to brush it, like things like that, right? I just didn't know how to love my hair. And then on top of that, I was obviously comparing myself to everyone else. And then I got so fed up with hating my hair. I got so fed up with not knowing how to do my hair. I got so fed up with the fact that my hair started to look like shit because I was hot ironing it so much, and I was constantly spending money on like fake hair, and it just never really looked the best. And so that's when I was like, you know what? If anything, I don't know if I'm going to embrace my natural hair or not. And this is the thing I want to bring it back to. There's going to be things that you realize that I'm not ready to embrace, or I don't want to. And I even think about my sister. I think right now, I don't think she's at a point where she's embracing her natural hair. I know she was struggling with that because she had a baby and she just couldn't do her natural hair. So she just got it, like she straightens it and stuff. And that's fine. I think my cousin does that too. That's totally fine. Like, you don't have to ever, or maybe there's going to be certain times in your life where you want to. But for me, I was like, you know what? I'm ready. I'm ready to do this. And I got curious and I went online and I found girls on YouTube who were teaching you how to do natural hair. And I got good at it and I committed to myself. And I started to, over time, start to really like the way that my hair looked because I learned how to do my hair. And then on top of that, it made my life so much easier because I felt more natural. I felt like I wasn't like ruining my hair all the time. I also started changing the people that I was looking at online, and I was looking at girls on Pinterest or Instagram or wherever I was. And I started to see girls with natural hair and how they were styling it. And I was like, oh, I didn't know my hair could look like this if I actually just tried. And now I love it. I think that it definitely makes me stand out when I go with my friends and my natural hair is out. This is not to mean none of my friends are pretty and perfect and amazing. My best friend Joy, she has beautiful, beautiful hair. You know, Asians, they got that hair, that long, beautiful hair. I love it. She looks amazing, but so do I because I've embraced my natural beauty. And again, if you're not there yet when it comes to like your hair or your I know girls have fake eyelashes or they get their lips done or something like that. Like whatever it is, that's totally fine. Like you go through a phase and you got to use whatever you can to make yourself feel the best. And maybe you just really like the way that you look with these things. But I would just highly suggest you explore your uniqueness and you try things out and you really ask yourself the question of like, who am I doing this for? Am I telling myself I have to do this? This is another thing, even when it came with makeup, is I used to wear like heavier makeup, especially on my eyes. I did that because I didn't really like the fact that I had big eyes, and I thought that the way that I was doing my makeup made my eyes look smaller, but it also didn't. But I wouldn't leave the house without doing my like eye makeup, and I also like would tell myself I couldn't go to certain events or certain things if I didn't have my hair a certain way or my makeup a certain way. This is not to mean that I would go anywhere looking like how I look in the morning, but I do not put as much effort, into how I look in some of these instances, because I started to realize like it doesn't make me feel good to have this discipline on myself that I have to have my eyes or my makeup in order to go out and go on a date. I have to look my absolute best, or I have to wear the prettiest dress in order to go and have a good time. Like I want to be able to have a good time with wearing minimal makeup. I want to go out and go on dates with guys who they don't care if I have all of my hair and my makeup and my outfit done to the nines. This doesn't mean that I can't do it. And I love to tap in to being able to dress up and do all those things. But at the end of the day, in my personal life, it is exhausting to constantly do some of those things. Like I was talking about, like my hair, it was exhausting to do that all the time. It also clearly was not healthy. And it was exhausting to always feel like I had to make sure that I get my makeup done and like all these extra steps that I had to do before I went out. For me personally, exhausting. If it's not exhausting for you, then that's fine. But again, tapping into this energy of like, who am I doing it for? Am I telling myself that I have to do it? Or is this genuinely just a choice and I like it? I know some girls who literally, first of all, they could beat their face like no other. Like I would never, ever, ever be able to slay a face the way that they do. It is insane. I love it. They're just like makeup artists, and they thoroughly enjoy sitting down for like an hour or two before they go out and do their makeup. Literally, bless their hearts. I love that for them. For me, I become irritated. After like 10 minutes, I'm like, hurry up, let's get this done. And I created a routine in which I can get my makeup done in probably less than 10 minutes. And that just works for me. I have other priorities. And it's not to say some girls' priorities when it comes to makeup is the wrong priorities, but it is if you feel like you're telling yourself you have to do certain things. Ask yourself, why am I telling myself it has to be a priority? And does it have to be a priority all the time? It's really nice to be able to go out and not feel like I have to have all of these like check boxes that I need to check before I walk out of my house. And when I'm really feeling it, I will get up and do my hair and look amazing and perfect and pretty and slay 10 out of 10. I love that. I just love having the option to do that. And that is what I really wanted when I was younger. I would just look at some girls who I thought like didn't wear a lot of makeup, or it seemed like they weren't really consumed with doing their makeup for an hour or like straightening their hair and stuff, which thank God and bless the girls who just kind of like don't really care, because I think that we can learn something from them, right? It's like, oh damn, like I guess I don't have to go out and like wear all that makeup because you're not doing it and you're happy. Like that's great. And I was like, damn, I want that. Like I want to be able to go out and not give a fuck so much. And I started to experiment with that, and I realized, oh my God, this is a life for me. And again, there's still times that I do my makeup and stuff, but it's definitely not all the time. Now, a few last things that I want to talk about, because I feel like if you don't tap into this thing that I'm going to talk about right now, then the tips and the advice that I've given you, it's not really going to stick. And that is, in order for you to truly feel confident within your own skin, you have to be okay with imperfections. You have to start to tap into that unconditional love for yourself. You cannot keep telling yourself you have to look perfect and you have to be 100% at all times. I do not personally believe somebody who is confident within themselves has those insane standards on themselves. And this is the thing, you're not going to be able to experiment with what you like and what you don't like, and whether you want to wear your hair natural or not, or go out sometimes not wearing makeup or sometimes wearing makeup, if you don't know how to let it go in terms of perfection, right? Like if you have this perfectionist mindset, then no, you're not going to ever go out and be okay with the fact that you're not wearing makeup. And again, I did talk about this in last week's episode, so if you didn't listen to it, I highly suggest you go listen to that, because I did talk a lot about unconditional loving ourselves, and we only usually love ourselves unconditioned when we look pretty and perfect. But what are you telling yourself on the days where you don't look pretty and perfect? Can you be okay with that? For me, I can be okay with that. I can be okay looking in the mirror and saying, you know what? I don't look the best right now. And you know what? Even if I'm in a relationship with someone and I'm waking up next to him, I know he probably doesn't think that I'm like a bombshell right now, but that's okay. And the fact that I am okay with that, he's okay with that too. And you know what? It's even better. He actually thinks that is way more beautiful than me having to show up or tell myself that I need to be a bombshell. Another thing you have to understand is there are always going to be beauty standards, and there's going to be multiple. Now, people like to say that there's like this one universal beauty standard, this European white girl type of beauty standard. And yeah, for sure, there definitely is. But I mean, I even see it in the Black community. There's this beauty standard. I see it in an Asian community. There's beauty standards. There's beauty standards everywhere with even men. Like there's always going to be some sort of standard. So with knowing that information, stop trying to fit into every single person's box and stop telling yourself that you're not living up to a beauty standard that you see online when there's multiple. There are literally thousands of people who would look at you with your eyes, with your teeth, with your smile, with your hair color, with your eye color, with your whatever, and say you are beautiful, amazing, so unique. And there's going to be a whole other group of people over here that say, you're all right, or she doesn't really fit into the standard. Yeah, she's not thick enough, so I don't really, no, she's not my cup of tea. Okay, and why is it that you are basing your self-worth off of the group whose standard is different than what you want yours to be anyways? And listen, let's just bring it back real quick. The reason why you're honestly doing this, you're trying to chase that love and approval from that group that is really irrelevant, is most likely because you have been chasing somebody's love, somebody's approval all of your life and you didn't get it. This is where it is time that you stand up and you say you're enough. This is where you stop chasing that group of people or that person, that parent, that man, that friend that is clearly not willing to accept you for whatever reason, not willing to love you and honor you and whatever. You stop and you stand up and you say, I am enough. And when you do that, you will see so many more people actually come to you because it's honorable. It's beautiful. There's something unique about the fact that you're finally owning your shit. You are finally owning yourself and you're comfortable in your own skin and you're enjoying life and you're in the present. People are broken. Understand that, okay? And at the end of the day, if people are not going to come to you, who cares? They're not your people anyways. You didn't come onto this earth to change and morph yourself into this one specific Barbie doll looking person so that everyone can just enjoy a piece of you and then walk away. And actually, I'm going to quickly read something from my book because I posted it on my story for the first time. This is something that I've ever posted really about my book. And I think this is actually very relevant. I wasn't even planning on doing this, but I'll just read it right now. And this is a chapter in which I'm really addressing the same type of topic here. And I wrote, a hard but freeing truth that I came to is that there are too many people on this earth for me to be everyone's cup of tea. I don't need to be. The desire to be picture perfect emerged from the desire to be loved and accepted by everyone. But the more I learned how to be there for myself and self-soothe during times of hardship, I came to find that I didn't actually need the entire world to fill the void I was experiencing. In fact, learning how to create a life filled with meaningful friendships, connections, and self-love was what I needed most. Half of the people I was seeking love and validation from didn't even love themselves, let alone know how to love me. So why keep chasing something that wouldn't know what to do with my love when I presented it? Ask yourself. You are chasing the love and validation from people who don't even know how to love themselves. They don't know how to love themselves, and they wouldn't even know what to do when you came up in your pretty packaged, perfect, amazing self, is because they do not know how to handle something that is so incredibly beautiful and unique. Go find those people. Go stand in your worth. Stop chasing. We are done the chasing. So that's going to be it for today's episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you got something out of this. Please share this with someone that you feel needs to hear this message. And definitely go check the descriptions for all the other related videos that kind of all encompass this topic of the pressure to be perfect, and anything that I talked about in this episode as well will be down below. And don't forget, I do 2 episodes a week on the podcast, in which today's episode, Thursday episodes, we talk about usually just one topic, one main theme. Obviously, I talk about many things within that theme. And then the Monday episodes, I call them off-topic episodes, and I just talk about a bunch of random things that I learned that week. I've gone through things that I found on TikTok, just like fun, more lighthearted chats. So definitely make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel if you're watching on YouTube. I also have this podcast available on audio, Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast. Make sure that you're following if you are listening on the audio version. If you would be so graciously kind to give me a star review, I would really appreciate that. Preferably 5. You guys already know that I was going to say that. Because we are really trying to hit a few milestones for the podcast. We've technically hit 1 million downloads because looking at my analytics from the audio version, but now because the podcast, I've gotten a certain amount of views on all of my videos and obviously subscribers and everything. It's probably totaled at 1 million, but regardless, whatever, 1 million is a very big milestone and we're going to just be hitting it if we haven't already. And I just want to continue to share this message with everyone who needs it. So please let me know what you liked about this episode and what you want to hear next. We have a lot of fun episodes coming this month. And yeah, that's everything. I love you guys so much and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.